We made it to episode 15 of Leading Off, as tonight Espo and I will discuss the latest in baseball. We'll hear Espo's pick of the day, and then Joe Pugliese will join the show for the second time to talk about the upcoming Subway Series, the 4th of July, and the worst baseball uniforms of all time tonight on Leading Off. And once again, we are live. This is the 15th episode of Leading Off, live from Studio 69 in New Jersey and REM Studio in Staten Island, New York, airing exclusive Twitch and powered by StreamYard. And welcome back to the show on this Monday, June the 28th, 2021. I'm your host, Rich Rivera, and I'm being joined by a real American who fights for the rights of every man, ESPO.
Wow, Rich. Well, I'm no Bernie Sanders, but thank you for the introduction, as always. You're a gentleman and a scholar. But
you're certainly no Hulk Hogan either, clearly. So ESPO is back again. We had another weekend. How was your weekend, by the way, bud?
It was great. It was hot, man. I mean,
it was a hot one.
Geez, I mean, summer's really underway, huh? I mean, I tried to spend it outside because it was sunny out, but man, I did a lot of good sports watching. Baseball, basketball, UFC, soccer, even. We got the Euros, so it's really a great time to be a sports fan, but especially to be a baseball fan. And still first place. Great time to be a Mets fan.
And surprisingly, and I was telling you before the show started, surprisingly, a bad division. And we were talking about it before the show. Before the season, that the National League East was supposed to be the most competitive, the craziest division, maybe with the exception of the Dodgers-Padres race, and they're not even in first place in their own division. That's going to be another topic of conversation right there. The Giants have just been playing amazing baseball in San Francisco. But yeah, the Mets are leading that division. I think they have, 3 games over the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken?
They're up 4 on the Nats, and they got a makeup game tonight, so that lead will either be 3 or 5 when I wake up tomorrow morning. So let's hope it's the latter.
Let's hope it's the latter. Why not? All right, well, before we get into it, just make sure to follow us on YouTube. Leading Off episodes are always shown on YouTube. Full episodes are up there. They're being uploaded as we can get them out there. So just make sure to share, like, and subscribe. And if you hit that notification button, you'll get notified when an episode gets uploaded of Leading Off. If you like to watch watch Espo and I talk baseball, it's a good time. So yeah, check us out on YouTube. So Ducks on the Pond. It's always our segment where we cover the bases, talk all the news and notes happening around in the baseball world. We always start with injuries, unfortunately, for our fantasy owners out there. Started off with the Yankees. Zach Britton hitting the IL, the 10-day for a left hamstring strain. He left the Red Sox-Yankees game with tough. Oh, God. I don't even know if I want to get started on that. But tough weekend for the Yankee faithful. The Yankees dropping the series. They're getting swept in Boston. But Zach Britton, they lose him as well. 10-day IL. Tough break for the Yankee bullpen, but honestly, the Yankee bullpen hasn't really been that big of an issue for this team. Their bullpen has been very strong. They pulled without Britton, so you're hoping that Zach comes back, but the bullpen is definitely not the issue with the Yankees.
Right? Yeah, the bullpen's been the least of the Yankees' worries. I mean, it's an unfortunate loss for the Yankees to lose Britton, but I mean, he's not the problem.
No,
I mean their problems run much deeper than that, and I don't know if there's just losing one player or adding one player would fix this Yankee team. To be honest with you, they need a lot more than just one guy.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get more into the trade deadline needs when the trade deadline, of course, looms closer in the coming weeks. And we don't know. At this rate, we don't know if this team is going to be a buyer, a seller. They're going to stay stagnant. At this rate, this team, I think, has to either stay stagnant or sell off whoever they can sell off. If there's
you never want to be in the middle. You want to either be at the top or at the bottom.
It's a rough spot that a team is in right now, but we'll get into that and more later. Dinelson Lamet also going back on the IL. Forearm inflammation for him. So Lamet fantasy owners like I, who took a big chance on him early on in the draft, Yeah, he's back on the IL, and he may be shut down.
As if being a Mets fan wasn't hard enough. I'm a Met fan, and I'm a LaMet fan.
LaMet fan.
I'm cursed with both.
LaMet sounds like the perfect Met. He should be on that team. Absolutely.
For real.
And for the Indians, tough break for them too. Aaron Savali added to the list of starting pitchers. Already
everyone on that staff is hurt. I mean, Bieber, Savali, Plesac. I mean, it's the walking wounded there in Cleveland.
Yeah, and tough break for them, and also tough break for one of their offensive players, Josh Naylor, who was a Yankee killer in the postseason last year when they played the team.
Did you see that video of that injury?
Oh, rough video to watch. Wasn't expecting it because John Boy had posted it up, and I didn't really know John Boy to post like nasty injuries up on his
so you weren't
Twitter.
Really prepared for that moment.
I wasn't.
Right? I mean,
I just saw like this crazy collision. I was just expecting, okay, everybody's gonna be okay after, but Naylor landed nasty on that leg, and tough loss for Cleveland and Josh, who's been trying to work his way back. He's had a slow season to start. He had a little hot stretch in June, but now he looks like he's gonna be shut down for a while. So that is a tough break for the Indians with those two losses.
Best wishes to his recovery. I mean, man, it's tough.
You hate to see it. You just hate to see it. Well, we're gonna move on and talk about some good stuff. The Home Run Derby. Of course, the Home Run Derby emanates at Coors Field, which is everybody's favorite ballpark to play the Home Run Derby and MLB The Show in, because it's just 515 plus home runs in left field all day. So the field so far looks great. They already announced Pete Alonso and Shohei Ohtani for it, but now Trevor Story,
defending champion Pete Alonso. Sorry, we had to.
Thanks for that. Thank you for clarifying. Trevor Story, who's going to be representing the hometown Colorado Rockies, and Trey Mancini of the Orioles. And honestly, gotta love it. Gotta love the story for Mancini, making his way back, having a great year for Baltimore, and now he's going to be in the Home Run Derby and hopefully maybe a representative of the Orioles in the All-Star game. So good to see those four to represent half the class for the Derby.
I love it. My money is on Ohtani. That guy is gonna. What's the record? 502 feet for a home run. Is
that the ESPO pick of the day? That means he'll probably.
Well, it's not available yet, but when it is available, you best be sure that's going to be the ESPOTD, the ESPOTani, if you will.
You know what? Actually, now to think about it, since we're not going to have a show next week, so our next episode is going to be in 2 weeks' time, the Home Run Derby Monday. So maybe it has to be a pick of the day, I would think.
It's gotta be. It's got to be
a pick of the day. So
all right, well, maybe a preemptive pick, but more on that later.
Yes, special edition Home Run Derby / All-Star Game version of Leading Off coming in 2 weeks' time. And our last note here, Hector Santiago. You never thought I'd talk about Hector Santiago, but he was the first pitcher ejected over the weekend for using a foreign substance since the crackdown on foreign substances handed down by MLB. He did it against his former team, the White Sox, in a Mariners jersey, and it seemed like he must have had something in the inside of his glove. Phil Cuzzi, started out, and they removed him from the game, and now I think he's dealing with a 10-day suspension, and they cannot replace him on the roster. So now the Mariners have to run with a roster that has one less player on it for the next 10 days. So wild circumstances, but now you see this plan finally in action for MLB, and Hector Santiago is the first victim.
I think it's hilarious. Enforcement of the rule has just gone so poorly for Rob Manfred, and in my opinion, it's blown up in his face. I mean, he's had one successful enforcement out of how many checks and how many pitchers that have made an absolute mockery of the check. I mean, you've seen clips of guys like Sergio Romo and Max Scherzer, of course, nearly dropping their pants to the ground to it's almost like a TSA strip search. So I love that they're making a mockery of it. But in terms of Santiago getting caught, I mean, I guess it's hard for me to have a full opinion on it because the MLB hasn't conducted their investigation. But I'll also say it's funny how they put it in the white bag like it's some like murder weapon, but like just a dude's baseball glove. It's like, got to send it back to New York for processing, as if it's CSI investigation.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of. It's been funny how some of the players have reacted. It is a bit ridiculous that this happened middle of the season. We'll talk more about the sticky substance use in a couple of minutes, but it's been nuts. So seeing Romo's reaction, Serge's reaction. I mean, you almost had a situation in that Nationals Phillies game where you could have saw maybe a benches clearing brawl with Serger and the Phillies taunting. So it's like it's going to be a situation that's going to go nuts. It's going to go haywire one of these days. It's going to result in something that I don't think Manfred anticipated, but this is something that has been in the rules.
He's not very good at that
years.
thing, in anticipation. That's not really one of his strong suits, is it?
No, absolutely not. He doesn't know how to anticipate shit. He is a piss poor commissioner, but we'll get more into that.
One more footnote to add. Unfortunately, he'll be a part of this trivia forever. First player in MLB history to be checked under the foreign substances rule is the man who you'd least suspect in a million years, my king, Jacob deGrom. But
your king.
How ironic that he's the first.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I saw that Met game the other day who was Tyler McGill? Tyler McGill, Major League debut. Good start for him. Leaves the mound, waited the dugout to get stopped and frisked on his way. It was crazy shit.
What a buzzkill,
This is the craziest shit. There's got to be some side of timeliness to it. I get it, you have to do your random checks, but come on, the kids have a major
there, man. You just ruined his
moment so far of his professional career. You got to stop him on the way to onto the dugout, receiving a standing ovation from the crowd. Come on, that's insanity, absolute insanity. We'll get into that more in a little bit, but make sure to follow us on Twitter at LOF Podcast. You can follow Espo at
The Life of Espo,
and you can follow me at Rich J. Rivera, and you can follow our very special guest tonight at JR Pugs, also on Twitter. He's the former co-host of Staten Island Joe and Franiac Show on 90.7 WCLH in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. He's a Mets fanatic, a baseball purist of sorts. Definitely is going to have some opinions on this sticky substance use and more. So joining us for the second time is Joe Pugliese. Now, where is he? There he is. Joe, what's going on, bud?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me, as always.
Of course, man. So let's get right into it. We were just covering the Hector Santiago being removed from the game on Sunday for the sticky substance use. So what's your takeaways on this whole, I guess, crackdown on the sticky substance use? And is baseball handling it the right way?
I mean, well, first of all, on Mr. Santiago, I mean, how dumb do you got to be? I mean, everybody knows what's going on. And even if it was just rosin and sweat, as Schwarber just hit one into the upper deck for another home run.
Oh, there you go.
You can enjoy that. And that was a bomb. Sorry. But that might be the furthest ball I've ever seen hit in National Stadium.
Look at that. On the call. Joe Pugliese, WCLH.
But, even if it was just sweat and rosin, they're going to check you. You have any suspicion in general, you're gone. Now, he was done pitching at the point, so it doesn't hurt him as far as the game was concerned. But, man, we're going to wait to see what this suspension is going to yield. It's an automatic 10 games. The rule, the problem I have is as Turner hits another one out and they go back to back. So that's a fun one if you're a Met fan. My problem with the rule right now is
it's okay. Ohtani just homered off the Yankees right now, so it's all good. So
I don't have a problem with the ruling. I don't have a problem with the way baseball has handled this. Would I have preferred them come down and hand it down and start this from the very beginning in spring training? Yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, the rule has been the same since 1920. You cannot put foreign substance on the ball. They had spitballs were common and they outlawed it for a reason. MLB is not doing anything new here, except now they are enforcing strictly the rule that you cannot doctor the ball. So obviously what they are doing is right. Spin rates are down for 73% of pitchers in Major League Baseball. They turned this sport into a joke. There are several pitchers. I mean, look at Garrett Cole's last 3 starts. And Cole's been good all year. And it's too early to say whether he is going to be the Garrett Cole of 2016 that he was with the Pirates, or he's going to continue to be Garrett Cole we've known for the last few years. But look at his starts, the last 3 starts. He struck out, 12 batters in 3 starts. He doesn't look like himself. His fastball's become flat. He gave up 4 runs in the first inning and took the Yankees right out of that game and probably out of that series by doing that. I have no problem with it. These pitchers, it's the old adage, you give an inch, everybody takes a mile. We had this wink-wink agreement for the last, half a decade, and we've taken it to the extreme. Every team has a lab creating substances to put on the ball. This is a problem. This was an epidemic. Baseball corrected it. Offense is back up. Spin rates are down. We're coming to realize who the real pitchers are and who's been faking it the whole time. And if you've handed out a massive contract to one of these pitchers, and all of a sudden, like Cole might be the poster child of this. If you're the Yankees, I'd be worried. So for me, I have no problem. Everybody kills Manfred the second Manfred does anything, but this Manfred had no choice. The Players Association was doing nothing because they're split, because half their players want this to occur, and the other half of it are screaming and yelling. So they have no ability to do anything collective bargaining wise. So Manfred took it into his own hands. And now we're going to see a return to a little bit of normal baseball. I think the shift is going to be outlawed to continue that trend the other way. But, I don't see where the commissioner was wrong here. I don't like the commissioner. I think he's done a lot of things that I dislike and have proposed a lot of stupid things, including the extra inning rule with the ghost runner on second. But this is not one of them. This is one that he got right, and he didn't wait. And once again, for all those people who say, why now? Why didn't you do it this time? Why did you do it that time? We're focused on the when and not whether or not the right thing has been done. And clearly, I think the right thing has been done by enforcing this rule.
Fair enough. And again, this has been in play for years, as you mentioned. And like the Players Association, their hands are tied. You mentioned before, half want and half don't want. I mean, if we're really speaking in layman's terms, half of them are offensive players, half of them are pitchers. So obviously, yeah, it is funny that offense has gone down and now all this is coming out, but there's got to be a way to balance the game. And yes, this is something that's been there for years, and it does suck timing wise. Yeah, preferably, like you said, would have been great if this was done in the offseason or the following offseason. Corey Favs in our chat, who was a great guest from a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to let his comments go unwarranted here, goes, I'm curious to see if an investigation comes back clean. What would the outrage be? Would be absolutely hysterical watching the league further shoot itself in the foot. I absolutely support the rule, but the league is the absolute worst when it comes to crap like this. Give Manfred an inch, he'll give you 100 rule changes. Doesn't matter if 100 guys got away with murder. If you get caught with murder, you're going to jail. So Corey Faz, very hot on this matter. So many people are out in baseball. We're going to continue.
And I will say one other thing. This hasn't come out of left field. Manfred's, and granted, last year we had COVID, so the league had bigger fish to fry than suspending players who were worried about even getting on the field last year. They sent out 2 memos before spring training last year addressing this. And then what happened was the players came back, the league worked on making sure that they were going to have a full season, and then they saw around spring training that this was happening again. They sent out another memo, and the players continued to ignore it. So it's not like the commissioner wasn't trying to be proactive. Like I said, you could say he's late to the party in figuring this out. He should have figured it out a couple of years ago. But this has been on his radar, and this has been on his plate, and he sat there and he sent a memo out in spring training and said, I'm going to see what they respond. Then he's, with all the StatCast, you could tell what guys are doctoring the ball. He waited a few months and said, all right, now I got yous, and now I'm going to start embarrassing you. And now you're going to wear the scarlet letter for being a cheater when I do catch you. Mm-hmm. So, at some point, as the commissioner, you got to do what you got to do.
Joe Pugliese with us on Leading Off, formerly of WCLH. I don't really want to get into the Subway Series so much this coming weekend because just talking about the Yankees is horrendous. So just listen to my show later tonight where I'm going to absolutely shit on the Yankees. Savages of the Bronx, 8 p.m. Eastern time on Twitch. But Joe, I'll ask you this question for your Mets. Right. You have the All-Star game coming up. We all know Jacob deGrom's going to the All-Star game. So what Met besides deGrom deserves a selection to the All-Star game this year?
Well, DeGrom's getting in, no doubt. I think the key person that they are going to put in, aside from him, is probably Taijuan Walker. He's been fantastic, and he's also a good story. I mean, beat up, been around the league a couple times, finally healthy, probably for the first time in his career, where he's had a stretch that he's had pretty much uninterrupted. I know he had that one brief IL stint. I think it's going to be him. Diaz would probably be another choice. He's been almost perfect in any save chances, but I think you're going to have a lot of people like Rodriguez from the Pirates and a couple other relievers taking that slot that would normally go to him. I don't see any position players getting in for the Mets. Nobody in the position in the field is playing particularly great. Not that many have been healthy. So I think you're going to see all pitching from the Mets. And who knows? Right now, the way DeGrom's schedule worked out, he's going to pitch the Sunday. So at the most he could even possibly do at the All-Star game is maybe an inning. The Mets are in the position where, you would like to see DeGrom push back a day to face the Yankees. But the difference is they have to play the Braves. Right now he's scheduled to face the Braves. They're not going to push him off against facing the Braves to face the Yankees, especially when it's not in their own stadium. And they'll get him 3 times before the All-Star break, which is key.
Who manages the National League team this year for the All-Stars? Dave Roberts, right?
Dave Roberts, yes.
You best be sure he's going to want to throw DeGrom out there for every inning in the All-Star game if he could. He'll want to gas him out.
I don't think it's going to happen unless the Mets are in such a good position where they say, all right, Jake, you know what? Don't pitch the Sunday against the Pirates. We don't need you to pitch that game. We got a nice lead heading into the All-Star break. And if you want to go pitch 2 innings in the All-Star game, you can. And then we'll just come back first or second game back from the break. So I don't expect him to pitch much in the All-Star game. But I do expect Walker probably to get in there for an inning. And one guy who's well-deserved. I mean, Stroman's another option. We'll see what Stroman does. He's his last 2 starts have been shaky. Obviously, I give him a pass this weekend with the death of his grandmother, and as he goes on bereavement from the team for a time being. But those are probably the 3 guys, maybe 4 guys that I would say. I think 2 of them end up in the game.
And very likelihood that you'll see those 4 pitchers in it: DeGrom, Stroman, Walker, and Diaz. Good selections there, Joe. But staying on topic with the All-Star game, this ugly piece of trash picture came out the other day. That is the All-Star game jerseys that are actually going to be worn in-game for the first time in years, because the players have always worn their own team jerseys. But this awful piece of crap will be worn by both teams. I think obviously these are the home whites. I think the American League team has like dark or like purplish or blue. I don't know. It's gross. So staying on that, we figured that tonight's top of the order with Joe over here is that we're going to list our top 3 worst baseball uniforms of all time. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So Joe, I'm going to start off with you in your number 3 position, top of the order, worst baseball uniforms of all time.
All right, my number 3, and we probably should have established a better rules that these jerseys need to be more worn on a semi-regular. They need to be worn multiple times to really count on this list.
Fair enough.
Back in 1999, MLB had this promotion. It was turn the clock ahead jerseys that they debuted, and they are hideous. I mean, you can go through every – and the Rockies one is probably the best one out of this.
Look at Larry.
With Larry. But I don't know if you had a picture of Johnny Damon with the Royals with the
that one was bad. I did see that one.
Oh, my God. Every single one of these needs to be dropped in the incinerator and never seen again. I don't know who designed them. I don't know what person approved them and how it got through multiple layers to actually get on the field.
Was that Oral Hershiser, by the way, in a Mets uniform?
Mercury Mets.
I think it is.
Yes. And and there's an article where he rips on the jerseys. But those were awful. Those are number 3. And I can't put them higher because they were only worn like 1 game for each team. But
you have a similar circumstance with the jerseys you have at number 3, not worn for that long.
Yeah, at number 3, I have the faux backs, the faux back throwbacks for the Tampa Bay Rays, which was quite an interesting decision in the first place, considering they've only been around since the late 90s, yet they were going for an angle as if they've been around since the 1970s with this uniform. So really interesting. I definitely appreciate the effort they made. An attempt was made, but for me, these uniforms are just ugly. They just don't represent the Rays at all, and I don't know. They just seem really out of place.
It just looks like
yellow is a weird, two different colors, shades of blue and the yellow, and it's just ugly, man.
It just looks like an obnoxious Arc League softball team. Like, that is a gross looking jersey.
It looks like they were trying to copy the Brewers, those Brewers throwbacks, but it didn't.
Battle Pilots, I guess.
Trying too hard with these. I don't know. It's a perfect storm of ugliness for me.
Number 3 actually might not be as bad as your two, but like I've always despised them. I just thought they were gross when they revealed them. Is the Miami Marlins jerseys, the first kind. These are the 2012. This, I think, when they introed the new look of the uniforms. Those orange ones too, just bad. But like I know they're trying to capture the essence of South Beach and Miami and try to get those colors in. But I just think that color combo is just way too much for a baseball uni. It looked like something that was made in a coloring book by a kid.
Traffic cone orange right there.
My number 3 spot, I'm going with the Miami Marlins. Joe, who do you got at number 2?
All right, number 2, I got I believe they were 1971 Baltimore Orioles, which is a shame because I love the hats. The hats with the bird on them are fantastic. But I mean, what is this? I mean, we're traffic cones out in traffic here, diverting the highway. I mean, this. Maybe if they put black pants, they would have been a little bit more bearable. But oh my God,
Happy Halloween
goals. So that's my number 3 of the 71 Orioles, which I believe they wore these a decent portion of the season.
Yeah, my man Ken Singleton, I think, also wore those jerseys at some point in his Orioles career. So Espo, do you have it number 2? This was a good one.
Everyone knows the old saying: "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." Don't mess with tradition. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they messed with tradition. And for whatever reason, they wanted to have red on their jerseys. And, man, I need to avert my eyes because these are just some of the ugliest uniforms I've ever seen. And don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for a good vest baseball uniform. But, man, these uniforms are just terrible, man. I mean, a red uniform for the black and yellow Pittsburgh Pirates just doesn't make sense, man, especially when you consider the rich uniform history this franchise has had with some of their great pinstripe uniforms. But this one was just an abomination. I don't know why
they might have been
it.
Just trying to capitalize on like the success of Pirates of the Caribbean and maybe like trying to go for Jack Sparrow-like colors.
Right.
Like, that's the only
kind of like the Buccos, the Buccaneers down in Tampa. And go with that kind of color scheme, but
why would you mess with the black and yellow? It's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, at my number 2 spot is a very famous one. It's already been mentioned in our Twitch chat. It's the Houston Astros, 1975 to 1993. Those very famous red and yellow tequila sunrise stripes on those. These are the non-cheating Astros back in the day. That badasses like Nolan Ryan and Mike Scott and.
Mike Scott was a cheater. He was cutting the ball up. So they got a rich history of cheating.
Oh, whatever. That's like cheating under the radar cheating. But the Astros are caught in 2017. So fuck. But they are number 2 for me. These Astro jerseys, very famous Astro jerseys, are at the number 2 spot. Joe, who do you have at your number 1?
All right, number 1. I went deep into this one. I believe it's the 1975 or 76 Chicago White Sox, who decided for some reason to go with shorts and a collar. So basically, which any team who lost to these should be embarrassed because you got beat by a bunch of guys in polo shirts. I don't know what was going on. They're not even softball jerseys. It looks like these guys came off the tennis court. There was nothing redeeming about these jerseys. It's I don't know if there's anything that can top as bad of an idea as that was, because there's no practicality to them with the shorts. There's nothing attractive, even in the 70s where people were stoned out of their minds and didn't know what they were watching. So that's my number one.
Joe, I'm not to cut into you, Espo, but I also have them at number one. The 76 White Sox. It is fucking kind of incredible that they got away with the short look. And this wasn't even the thing that they tried to experiment. Like, this is a look that I would expect them to do in the dawning of baseball, like in the 1800s. But even those motherfuckers are wearing those fedora caps and stuff, and they were wearing the long pants. Like, they had some wild style back in the day.
How do you slide?
You guys know who else hated this uniform?
No one's sliding those things. I'm sorry. This is like, that is Sunday morning softball and hard top rules. I ain't sliding those shorts. Forget about it.
You know who else hated that uniform? Chris Sale.
You
remember that? Remember that story?
Yes, they tried to do the alternate jerseys there. When the fuck did you change it to a jersey, Espo? I must have the graphic up.
I don't know. I'm just good at what I do, I guess.
Wow,
but
Espo,
that'll segue us into my number one choice. The aforementioned Astros, of course. I mean, they're officially known as the Tequila Sunrise uniforms, and it is an apt name, I think, calling them Tequila Sunrise, because that's what it would look like if you had about 5 Tequila Sunrises you throw up on the floor, and it would look a lot like that. They are quite possibly the ugliest jerseys of all time, in my opinion. So much so that to commemorate their ugliness, I bought one.
What a great investment.
I kind of like them. I know I'm in the minority there, but I kind of like them. They kind of sum up that team in the Astrodome, and
it kind of sums up the 80s, doesn't it? Just really loud and tacky, and
Nolan Ryan throwing in them as Baby Shark just hit one out as
Soto home run derby over in the Nationals game. Clearly. But yes, the Astros jersey at number one. It seems to be like a number one throughout the Twitch chat, which of course we have some comments in. Des Dutch, who's been a reoccurring guest here on Twitch. Thank you for tuning in. Des Dutch says, common theme here is a dislike of orange Astros unis are iconic. Company softball team, he says. Expert FME says, yes, it's a terrible look. And Des Dutch on the White Sox jerseys says, they look like my gym teacher, which I think is a very, very accurate description of the 76 White Sox jerseys. Joe, thanks for joining us. Before letting you go, you're a big 4th of July guy. We got 4th of July coming up this weekend. What's going on, man?
We got a nice big barbecue up in the mountains in Pennsylvania. Gonna have my cousin, my brother's cooking food. My brother's is chef. He works at Google as a test chef. So he's got some special surprises come in store for us. And you know me, I have family, food, fireworks, and freedom. That's what 4th of July is all about. And it's my favorite holiday. It's probably the best weather holiday of the year. And I plan to enjoy every second of it.
And those are Joe's favorite Fs. If you don't like that, go fuck yourself.
And Subway Series on 4th of July. There's nothing more American than a little Subway Series on the 4th of July, at least for us New Yorkers.
Yeah, it's not going to be bad for you guys. It ain't going to be bad. Again, if you want to hear me complain about the Yanks, tune in at Savages, 8 o'clock with me and Tom. It's going to be great. But Joe, as always, an absolute pleasure having you on, sir.
Thank you, boys.
Have a good one. Enjoy your 4th of July holiday. Enjoy the dogs.
You too. Thanks, guys.
All righty. Take care, bud. And Joe Pugliese once again joining us. Great to have him on as always, Espo. And also a big guy. Like, he loves going on Twitter and just shitting on things happening in the game of baseball and other sports. So just go follow him on Twitter at JRPugs. Just give him a follow there. So, special announcement for those who already don't know. We just mentioned the 4th of July, but next Monday, there will not be a live edition of Leading Off or Savages in the Bronx for the first time. I'm actually going to get a break for once. Thank God. Happy 4th of July for me. So, yes, we're not going to be live next Monday. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. That's going to be on July 12th. So, July 12th, it's a Monday. July 12th, we will be back for a new episode of Leading Off. That'll be episode number 16. So, that'll do it for that announcement. But that won't do it for the show. because we got one more little thing that we love to do here that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks. It is the ESPO TD. I can't fucking say it. The ESPO TD.
You almost have it.
I'm just going to go with ESPO TD from now on. That's the easiest to say.
Do it. Well, Rich, we actually have not been loving it the last 2 weeks because we are 0-2 on it, and the Mets have failed me in back-to-back weeks. So thankfully, since they have already started playing, they cannot – well, they will be failing me just emotionally, not financially. But at any rate, we're going to roll with the St. Louis Cardinals tonight.
Ooh, okay.
They're hosting the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks did get their first road win in about 10 years over the weekend against the Padres. So kudos to them. They finally broke that terrible record that they set. But I just like the Cardinals tonight. So you can either bet them -1.5 runs. So they got to win by 2 runs or more for the bet to cash. Or you could take their over run total, 4.5, whichever one you like better. But me, I'm a gambling man. I might just ride with both. So I'm a Cardinals fan tonight, I guess.
Yeah, rocking that Astros jersey. Yeah, good stuff. So you're taking the Cardinals in that one over the Diamondbacks, which I think is a safe bet. Diamondbacks absolutely suck.
They're trash.
I would take my
Faria versus Wade LeBlanc, pitching matchup of the century.
Oh, God. Wow, headline
Maybe
match.
the over is a better bet because I don't trust the Cardinals either.
The Snakes are horrible. I would take the Ball Busters, my softball team on Sundays against the Diamondbacks any day of the week. We will take them to the limit. And they're bad. So Cardinals, yeah, good. I would say that's a safe bet. That's a safe ESPO pick of the day. ESPOTD. God damn. Why do I feel like I have like sudden dyslexia now saying it? The ESPO TD. So the ESPO TD brought to you by ESPO, which you can follow at.
What it is, Rich? It's that damn work, man. They're working us too hard.
Oh, working us too hard, man. This 3-day weekend couldn't come any sooner, my man. But until then, I hope you guys all out there enjoy your 3-day weekends. Maybe you're on longer extended vacations. So I hope you enjoy that as well for the holiday coming. Also, have a happy 4th of July to all our Twitch viewers and our Twitter followers. And Joe Pugliese, who was a great guest tonight. It was great to see him and have him on once again on leading off. ESPO, anybody you want to thank or shout out?
I'd like to thank family and friends, as always, for tuning in. You guys are a great audience. We love you. But one more man I'd like to thank is the man who's going to defend his championship as the GOAT, Joey Chestnut, the greatest hot dog eater in the history of the world. He's going to bring it home for America, baby.
Joey fucking Chestnut. What a legend. I know we're the baseball show. And
he is an American hero. This is an American show, okay?
I mean, it's kind of incredible. This guy is just like undefeated in the hot dog eating contest. He's
a legend.
Unbelievable.
He's just, probably better at eating than Michael Jordan was at basketball. I'm willing to go that far.
So let me ask then, what's the ESPO TD for Joey Chestnut hot dogs? Let's say, I don't know what's a safe bet with him. What's the good over-under? What's the odds? You know the odds?
Well, I mean, funny little stories while we're here.
Oh, God. He's actually going to gamble on it.
DraftKings last year actually allowed you to bet on the over-under of hot dogs eaten.
I would figure that was going to eventually be a thing.
The world record at the time was 74, and they didn't think he was going to break the record, so they set the line at 74.5.
Okay.
And I bet the over, being a true American patriot.
Yep.
So at the buzzer, he ate number 75. So Joey Chestnut, he cashed my bet, and he's just the best, man. We love you, Joey Chestnut.
He's setting the bar at 70. He's setting the bar at 70. So over under 70 dogs for Joey Chestnut for the 4th of July.
I'm doing it. I'm taking the over all day.
You're taking the over? We're in the overs club. I'm in the overs club too. That guy's incredible.
The dog of the day. Well,
I hope you guys enjoy your hot dogs. Don't choke on them. Don't try to be like Joey Chestnut. Just eat them and have a good time. And
eat slow.
Put a bathing suit on. Enjoy the pool. We got hot weather coming up, so be safe out there. But enjoy your holiday weekend. And until then, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care.